Hey there, chatters. I'm Nat.
And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I'm your forensic femme fatale. Natalie is your true crime addict connoisseur.
Oh, it cut off your singing voice. I hate when it does that.
True crime addict connoisseur.
When you hit a high pitch, it just cancels
It's
it
my
out.
pitch. It's my pitch.
Only dogs can hear it. So we're just two normal girls who are obsessed with dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown.
And here is your disclaimer, chatters. The following crime chat contains adult content. Let me use a different tone. And descriptions of not super violent, but pretty gross situations today. So your listener discretion is advised.
All right. Well, you've been warned. And before I get into today's crime chat, Kat, what shenanigans have you been up to?
So I was watching Only Murders in the Building, and I thought we finished season 5.
Right.
And Chris is like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I thought so, maybe not." And we didn't. We're like, okay, go back and start to rewatch. God, it's such a good show. They do amazing. I think we're on the last 2 episodes because there was a ton, and it just finished a couple weeks ago as we're recording this. And I was like, oh yeah, we definitely did not watch the rest of that, but it's great.
I haven't watched that since season 1. Season 1.
You're missing it. You're missing it.
What is it on though? What?
Hulu.
Hulu. Oh, okay.
So, speaking of Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
I saw something. Okay, so the Disneyverse is like taking over. They bought out Hulu. And soon, like, you'll have to get a Disney Plus. Or they're merging it somehow, but like, you'll have to get like additional things. And we were talking about getting Disney Plus anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe if they do a bundle or something, because we've got most of the apps and stuff that we do through Prime. So it's like you have Prime, and then we've got like AMC Plus, Paramount Plus. My husband just wanted Peacock, and we got rid of the Major League Baseball one because he's like, I don't watch baseball. But he wanted Peacock, so we've like got like all these other ones. So
I don't like the way Disney. I don't like the way they started like splitting up seasons between themselves. Like I watched Yellow Jackets, I believe on Netflix or Amazon for the first 2 seasons. And then the last season, you have to jump over to like Paramount or Hulu.
Well, it's because it's on HBO. So it was, or HBO Max. HBO or Max, one of them.
Split those seasons. Like,
because it's a third party. It's not the original. Like if you had the original, you know how sometimes on, well, I guess Netflix is doing it too, but they'll push out and you'll have all the episodes. But if it's a third party who's like paying for that show to re-air it, which is what they did with Yellow Jackets.
I don't like it.
I know.
That sucks.
Yeah. And that's about it. That's all the shit-tastic things I've been doing. How about you?
I watched a movie that was amazing. So the game that I started playing is like voted like the best video game that has ever been created. And it's called Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a cowboy one. I told you about it recently.
Yes. And I saw an advertisement for it recently.
For the game? You need to like go to YouTube and like, it's, you can't tell it's a video game. You can't tell. The graphics are so good. And this was created in 2018.
Yeah.
But it's open world, which means that they have this certain program that's AI related. So it's like everything you can't I mean, there are map boundaries, but you can't, I mean, by the time you get there, it's ridiculous. And they have to name it different. Like they can't name a state like Montana. They call it something else like New Hanover or something. So they have a state that is, Texas. They have a state that's Montana. They have Colorado. They have Wyoming. And then they have New Orleans, and they call it Saint Denis. And Saint Denis is like, there's this whole backstory to the saint. And the story is written so flipping well. It's insanely good. And I'm like, this is better than Vinny, my husband, actually sat down and watched me play the game. He's like, this is better than a movie. Like, this is insane. I'm like, it is.
That's because awesome.
Everything you do is random. You can't, there's a story, but everybody's playing a different story.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy. So I watched this movie that people were recommending in that group, my Red Dead Redemption group. They were recommending Hostels. And I'm like, what is that? They were like, watch it. Last night I watched the movie, and it was exactly the same scenery the same shit, different story, but the same thing as the video game. It's insane.
Same shit, different story. Same shit, different day.
The stars were Christian Bale. Did a great job. And then Rosamund Pike, who is I love that actress. She was so in Gone beautiful. Girl. She's a beautiful girl. So it was about, the Wild West and the military days when they were between Native Americans and the military and the people that lived there. And the story focused on this chief that they were trying to get back to Montana, to his home country, to his home state, to live out his life with his family. They relocated that reservation over. But the chief was telling him, listen, you think that it's me against you. No. We have tribes that will kill us. There are rival chiefs. There are rival. Before you got here, we were already at war. There were wars all over the place.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And people always focus on the colonists did everything. And they kind of tell the story of what was going on between the tribes. And I'm like, that's so interesting, and how brutal they were amongst each other. Yeah. And this one tribe ended up taking out Rosamund's family, entire families, horrible, children, everything. And the chief kind of brought her in and was at the end, it's a beautiful story, but it's a bunch of bad people. The chief was, he fessed to be murdering hundreds of people. And then the military guy was fessed to murdering hundreds of people, and a bunch of bad people that kind of in the end had their redemption. It's like a red redemption. Red redemption. Yeah. So I recommend seeing that. I think it's a powerful story.
I want to say I have seen it. The guy who plays the chief, I recognize his face.
What a
Wes Studi is his name. I had to look up the cast because I was because I'm a nerd. I'm a research nerd. So, but I didn't, I don't remember ever hearing his name, but if you see his face, he's been in tons of movies.
It's an amazing actor. Amazing actor. Yeah, everybody was good in that movie.
That's awesome.
That's all I did.
That sounds really good. Yeah, I mean, really, it's only been a couple days.
I know. We just recorded.
Since we recorded, but we're trying to get ahead.
I know, because Kat's going away.
I have a fiesta and a siesta and a drinkesta to partake in. So,
Natalie is so freaking jelly. Oh my God,
Natalie needs to come with.
Yeah, one day.
We're going in February.
Where?
Caribbean.
Oh, but on a cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, Vinny doesn't cruise.
Oh, well, Chris didn't for the first 10 years we were married, and then I got him on one, and that's all. That's all we do. But it's good because it's we see places that we might want to go back to, and it's just fun. It's just fun.
It's not like we had one, we've been on a couple of cruises. We had one bad experience, and then we had a great experience. But I think what turned him off from cruising is when we got off the ship and we went into that little tourist town that they have outside of the ship.
Sure. At the ports. Yeah. Somebody
tried to charge us $4 or $5 for a bottle of water. And Vinny had he was never again. I'm are you kidding me? Really? He's no, I can't do it because of that thing. It irked him so much. And that's,
Well, it also depends on the cruise line and where you port. So I will say, how I describe the cruise line that we go on is Lincolns and Fords. It's the same company, right? We take the Lincoln of the Fords.
Yes.
So because the company that actually owns the cruise line that we're on is a very popular company, and they're known to be party company and all this stuff. But we like this because it's an older crowd, typically. I mean, there's still a lot of fun. And, I think I had told you last year. Was it last year? We went on Thanksgiving or the year before.
Yes.
We were never a holiday again. Too many fucking kids.
That's right.
But it is a free cruise. The one that we're getting ready to do is a free cruise.
That's right.
I mean, we paid for the balcony, we paid for the drink package, we paid the difference of things, but a 10-day cruise for the amount of money that we actually paid for it, and to go to ports that we haven't been before, we're man.
Go have some fun.
We're hoping, we got $500-$600 of free play in the casino. Maybe we'll get another one.
Nice. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have $600 to start with, that's not even your money.
Yeah.
And it's like you play with the free play tokens
Mm-hmm.
or the chips, and then what you win, you get real chips. Well, real chips go in your pocket.
Yes.
And then you keep playing with the free chips or the free play until you run out. And then whatever you've won is already like a surplus.
Yeah,
you know?
that's going to be fun. Yes, enjoy yourself. So that's why we're rushing. We're going to be recording yet another story this week.
We've got one more that we're going to record before I leave.
Can't wait to hear that update. Like, what'd you do? I saw you yesterday. I don't know anything. All right. So
what have I done? Yeah.
You asked me to do an intro on the murder rate or stats in recreational areas.
Yeah, like Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Okay. So here's what I came up with. So nature's supposed to heal us. Go touch grass, they say. Take a walk through the woods. Skip some stones on the lake.
Fresh air.
Yeah. Hike a trail. Breathe in the fresh air. Sounds peaceful, right? Until you remember that every single Friday the 13th movie has somebody getting murdered doing the exact same thing.
Camp Crystal Lake.
Yes. Suddenly that serenity looks a whole lot like an opening scene to a horror film. Sometimes the darkness hides in those peaceful places, and the wilderness can become the perfect stage for murder. While most outdoor deaths come from accidents or exposure, every now and then that quiet paradise becomes a crime scene. According to the National Park Service, homicides across America's national parks are exceedingly rare, fewer than 50 reported in over a decade. But the cases that do happen linger like ghost stories told around a campfire. Because these murders don't just end lives, they shatter the illusion that nature isn't always a safe place. Here are some stats, facts, and 3 real cases that remind us how quickly a family trip, a romantic getaway, or a simple walk can descend into a nightmare. According to National Park Service, NPS, there are over 420 national parks and recreation sites in the United States. In a recent 6-year review, 177 of those parks reported at least one death during that period. Across that time frame, an average of about 358 deaths per year occurred within the park system, and that was recorded in the NPS 2023 report. Most were caused by accidents, natural causes, or environmental factors such as falls, drownings, or exposure, but not by violent crime. For comparison, in 2019, the mortality rate in national parks was just 0.11% deaths per 1,000 recreational visits. An incredibly low number. Yeah. Next to the United States general population death rate of about 715 per 100,000, that's very, very low. Yes. Now, statistically speaking, dying in a national park is rare, but those broad numbers don't tell the whole story. They hide where, how, and why the deadliest accidents happen. In certain remote, poorly monitored areas, a lack of witnesses or slow emergency services can turn small risks into deadly outcomes. So, what are the causes and what's most dangerous? Most deaths are accidental or medical, not criminal. For example, like I said before, falls, drownings, heat illness, even vehicle accidents. According to one analysis, homicide is about 1.4% of all cause deaths in national parks. In another report from 2014 to 2023, there were approximately 43 homicides recorded across the entire system. Other reports indicate intentional deaths, including suicides and missing persons, remain underreported and poorly tracked. So we really don't know the number. And that was from the Free Range American report. Now, are there more dangerous parks with a higher risk factor? Yes. So here are 2. Some parks pose higher danger because of remoteness, rugged terrain, or extreme conditions. Between 2007 and 2021, the North Cascades recorded approximately 3.7 deaths per 100,000 visitors, and that was from the Straight Arrow News. The other one, 2007 to 2018, found a rate of about 652 deaths per 10 million visits, which is still low. You know?
That to 10 million. Yeah,
that equates to roughly 6.52 deaths per 100,000 for the park. For
6.5. Yeah, 6.5
Cascades.
deaths for every 100,000 people.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of people, but not, like, and that's any kind of death, medical, accidental.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So another large park, Lake Mead National Recreational Area, which spans Nevada to Arizona, consistently reports some of the highest numbers of deaths in the entire national park system.
Isn't that where all those barrels of bodies are? Or being found?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, according to the National Park Service data analysis in 2023, Lake Mead averages about 19 deaths per year, giving it an estimated fatality rate of roughly 1.6 deaths per 1 million visits. While that might sound low, it is still one of the deadliest parks in the U.S.
Right.
Simply because of how many people visit each year, nearly 7.5 million annually.
Well, okay, so the more people, the more chances that somebody's gonna die.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're not separating things. So it could be heat stroke, it could be drowning, it could be a plethora of different things. The majority of these deaths are drowning and boat accidents, often involving strong currents, alcohol use, or extreme desert heat. Others are linked to falls, heat exhaustion, and rare vehicle crashes in the rugged terrain. In short, Lake Mead may look inviting, but its combination of water, heat, and overconfidence has made it one of the #1 parks for fatalities year after year. A stark reminder that nature's beauty and danger often share the same view. So, yeah, I can see people going there. When they say overconfidence, I'm like, oh, yeah, people go there thinking they can skydive and do all this. No.
Yeah, liquid courage.
Yeah. So what doesn't these reports show? So, the system lacks a comprehensive public database of homicides and missing persons in parks. Many cases go unreported or unresolved, according to the Free Range American. Because visits vary massively, some parks get millions of visitors, while others are really remote and only get few of the bravest people that want to hike there.
Isn't it in Death Valley or something like that? That's in like the desert.
Yeah.
That is like, you don't go there. It's a national park, but you don't go
there. Well, these raw deaths are not counted always in a meaningful way, and they don't really adjust for the visitation of each park. So, idea who visits, if they haven't kind of signed, I guess some parks have a sign-in way or a way to kind of monitor the visitation, but like there are parks, like you just said, that are so remote, nobody's working there. Those places may have like watchtowers to check out for fires and stuff like that, but they're not monitoring everybody coming in and out.
Right. Yep.
So like the fact that homicide is a small percentage statistically doesn't make any given site safe automatically. Remote settings, fewer witnesses, longer response time equals higher risk of certain spots or scenarios.
Yeah.
So now here are 3 cases involving murder. The first one, Shenandoah National Park, double murder in Virginia, 1996. Julie Williams and Lottie Winans were 2 adventurous young women who loved the outdoors. In May 1996, they hiked into Shenandoah National Park with their golden retriever Ty. It should have been a perfect weekend with fresh air and freedom. Instead, it ended in horror. A week later, their bodies were found, gagged, bound, their throats slit near their own campsite. For almost 30 years, the case went unsolved. Then in 2024, DNA finally pointed to Walter Leo Jackson, a convicted felon who had since long died.
Okay, so that is solved, I guess you could say.
Solved, but, you know, he's dead.
But he's dead. He's getting a sentence in the afterlife.
Hopefully, yeah. Next one, Ocala National Forest camping murders.
Ocala.
Florida, 1994.
Ooh,
brother and sister.
I lived there then.
Did you? By Ocala?
Well, not Ocala, but I mean, close enough.
Ocala is wild. So I do too, but it does have very rural areas.
Yes.
So brother and sister John and Pamela Edwards headed out for a quiet night of camping. They met 2 friendly strangers who helped them pitch their tent. And that's when everything began to unravel. Later that night, John was beaten and his throat was cut. Pam was assaulted and left tied up in the woods. She survives, but her brother didn't. Their attackers stole their gear and vanished and have not been seen since. Like, they have no idea. It's unsolved.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And number 3, the Anchorage Trail Murders, Alaska, 2016. In 2016, Anchorage residents began finding bodies on their jogging and biking trails. 5 victims in total. Police were baffled until a shootout later revealed the killer. James Dale Ritchie, a lifelong local with a double life, a cold-blooded gunman. He was killed in a shootout, and he basically took the answers with him. I didn't research why he was in the middle of a shootout, but maybe he could be another crime chat. I don't know, but...
Well, I mean, the cases that we have covered in Alaska have been wild.
I know.
So
crazy.
Well,
crazy.
Add it to the list, man.
So, in my final thoughts, recreational spaces are supposed to be our escape, peaceful, beautiful, safe. But the wild doesn't make promises. Isolation can turn from calming to deadly in a heartbeat. And that is why you won't catch Nat camping, okay? Glamping, maybe, but never roughing it. So that's my intro for you.
Yay, thank you. Oh, it's perfect. I was looking at the cases that you were covering, and I was like, oh, man, I didn't tell her which one I was covering. I hope she doesn't cover it. Oh, you did? Oh, you
did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, so we are going to be talking about a national recreational area that did have and has additional unsolved cases. The ones that we're going to talk about are 2. There's 2 victims, but apparently, and I'm not going to get into this too much. Y'all can do your own research on it, but apparently in this area, there's 5 total. And, the theorists out there are like, ooh, they're all connected.
Well, yeah, maybe there's a serial guy.
Possibly.
Ooh, okay.
Well, in the fall of 1980, 2 sisters, Vickie and Carla, disappeared around a well-known recreational area that covers both Tennessee and Kentucky called the Land Between the Lakes. Witnesses say they saw the girls talking to a man in a blue truck. Just less than 3 weeks later, both of their bodies were found 5 miles away from their home, each with a gunshot wound to the head. Police had very few leads and even less evidence, and this case is unsolved to this day. October was 45 years.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yes.
You just give me chills. All right.
Yeah. So what happened to the sisters? Who was the man they were seen talking to? Was this a cover-up by authorities? Well, let's unpack the shit and get into it. So the Land Between the Lakes, LBL, is a national recreational area on more than 170,000 acres located in Kentucky and Tennessee between Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake. It was designated as a national recreational area in 1963 by President John F. Kennedy and developed using funds appropriated during the Johnson administration. It was later transferred from the Tennessee Valley Authority. I'm going to kind of get into this a little bit at the end because there's a twist.
Oh, okay.
But it went from the Tennessee Valley Authority to the United States Forest Service. And in 1991, it was designated as a United States Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization's Biosphere Reserve. A scientific program launched in 1971 by the organization to establish a scientific basis for the quote-unquote improvement of relationships between people and their environments. I'm not stereotyping, but tree hugger?
Hippie.
In 1980, 14-year-old Carla Sue Atkins and her 16-year-old half-sister, Vickie Stout, were students at Stewart County High School, and they lived with their mother. About 6 weeks before their murders, they lived in a mobile home in Dover, Tennessee, behind a restaurant called the Dip Dairy Freezer. Burgers, fries, ice cream, you know the stuff.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah. Now, Dover, Tennessee, at the time, was a little on the wild side, apparently. This is like thefts, underage alcohol use, drug sales, botched drug deals. And many incidents happened either at or around the Dip Dairy Freeze, which was also near the girls' home at the time. It was so bad that a lot of the older townspeople avoid going out at night.
Oh no.
Just an example, like for 20 some years, like this place existed in like, I think the 50s, right?
Yeah.
The sock hop, like
Yeah.
that's what they did. The kids had nothing else to do. They went to the Dip Dairy Freeze. Some of the fastest cars came from nearby counties in Tennessee and Kentucky to quote unquote circle the dip, driving fast around the store, squealing their tires.
Aww.
So by 1980, thousands of teenagers and young adults would congregate into groups, park their cars, trucks, motorcycles, hot rods around the Dip Dairy Freeze parking lot, specifically in the summer, blaring music from the cars. The Dip Dairy Freeze also had an outdoor jukebox that they would like blast the music from there. And occasionally they would drive along a lengthy asphalt section of Long Creek Road and land between the lakes for drag races. So they would be like, you want a race? Let's go. Yeah. And then there were also several people with close ties to Carla and Vickie that had been arrested and imprisoned for illegal activities. Along with these nighttime spectacles, there were regular parties in and around the wooded area where Carla and Vickie lived. Many times the parties would creep into their yard, like, people would be outside, start at the dairy dip, be like, hey, let's go hang out in the woods. And they just lived so close to the dairy dip freeze that they kind of encroached on their property. But at the same time, the girls were left alone a lot of times without supervision. A single mom raising kids in the 80s. So a lot of these parties involved drugs, alcohol, you name it.
Yeah.
But perhaps because of these activities, it's possible that's why Vickie, Carla, and her mother moved the family out of this area. And again, it was only about 5 miles away, but this was just about 6 weeks before the actual murders. Now, going to get into another theory, but why they may have moved, but we'll get there. But they did move into another mobile home on U.S. Highway 79 in Dover, which is the main road that it's like Main Street, goes right through downtown. When I say downtown, I looked on the map, I was like, this is probably smaller than the town that I live in. When you look on the map, it's like, dang, it's a small town. So on September 17, 1980, Carla and Vickie skipped school, possibly for the second day in a row. But there is some also inconsistent information regarding some of the exact details of that day. And I'm going to cover all of them, the best I can and kind of mention a couple things. For example, there's some information that indicated Vickie told her boyfriend, Randall Riggins, that was a possibility she was pregnant that same day. And there's also some information that the girls, Carla and Vickie, were supposed to testify in a case in Paris, Tennessee, which is right there, really close to them. It's the next town over, the following day, September 18th, 1980. And this was for a drug-related case. So hold that thought. Put a nuggie in that. But on that day, September 17th, Randall Riggins, the girl's brother, Vickie Stout, and another boy, Bobby Morgan, the three boys, they were all supposed to report to the Stewart County Jail to start a sentence for marijuana possession. At about 3 p.m. on the 17th, the girls supposedly hitched a ride with Randall in a yellow-green van, and they went to a nearby IGA grocery store. Randall may have turned himself in afterwards because there was a record of him where he actually was in jail that day, but there were also some witnesses that said that they saw him with the girls. Brother Randy Stout said that Randall did not stay in jail. So there's just a little bit of contradictory information.
That's weird though. They don't know that information.
So I think it's just because it's so old, and I'll get to some of this.
Oh, okay.
Authority involvement.
Oh,
maybe.
Okay.
Yes, there's a record that Randall Riggins was in jail. Yes, there's a witness that had seen him with the two girls in this yellow-green van at the IGA grocery store. Timing, it's just really not known.
Yeah.
They're at the IGA store. The girls were then seen walking out of the store. Randall had left, and the girls went out. They were on foot. They were walking to another convenience store. Now, this is another thing. One thing I saw said the store... It's a convenience store / restaurant. So it's one of those convenience stores that also makes food.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? One of the names I saw was the Furnace, but I couldn't verify the name. I went and I looked in Dover, even if it was an old one.
Yeah.
Now, I couldn't verify the name if it was called the Furnace. That's what some of the research I had said, but it might have been the Furnace, but it might, just based on kind of the location when I'm looking on the map, it might be a place called the Spring Street Market today. Maybe it was a place that was called the Furnace in 1980. Not too sure. Either way, it's like this one of those like pit stop, convenience / little restaurant.
Right.
You pop in, you grab some lunch, whatever. So here, the girls had bought some snacks, maybe some cigarettes, and the sisters left the store on foot. They started to walk back home, but they never made it, and they were never seen alive again.
Oh.
Now, for a long time, this is 45 years, right? For a long time, it was reported only one eyewitness saw the girls talking to the man in a blue truck, and that the truck had circled the highway by that store. So it's like they drove by, circled, came back around, maybe saw the girls walking. Now, another witness would surface later, but I'm going to get to that. So put another nugget in it. Now, when the girls didn't come home, the girls' mother knew something was wrong, and she reported them missing. Stewart County Sheriff at the time, his name is David Hicks, he believed that they were just running around the town, and he was quoted saying, "I'm going to kick their butts when I find them."
Oh, boy.
The girl's older sister, Patricia Gordon, received a phone call from her brother Randall, Randy Stout, the one I was talking about earlier, who said Carla and Vickie never came home. The next day, with the girl still missing, a truancy officer from the school showed up at the house to ask about the girls because they had not been seen at school and they've missed a couple days. This is when the documentation kind of really started and the missing persons investigation kind of kicked off because the sheriff at first was like, they're teenagers, the girls are fucking around, you know.
Of course, back then, yeah.
1980, yeah. So Sister Patricia recalled, quote, "And that's when we kind of started to panic," end quote.
Oh, boy.
Now, at this point, within days of the girls' disappearance, the family started to assume that they were kidnapped. Patricia, the sister, recalled that Carla asked at one point to live with her and her husband. Patricia, just starting out, just married, not really having a whole lot of money, they were not able to do it, but to this day, Patricia wishes they had.
Aww.
Now, the family heard rumors that there were sightings of the girls, and they hoped that they would get that call, that Carla and Vickie were found and that they were found alive. Unfortunately, that would not be the case. 18 days later, on October 5th, 1980, hikers smelt an odor as they were exploring kind of an area of land between the lakes. So this is another thing that was kind of like I couldn't quite pin down. Research shows Lost Creek, but when I went to look it up, there wasn't like a Lost Creek there in and around Dover. There was another Lost Creek like kind of down the river a little bit, but it technically wouldn't be in the area of land between the lakes. So it's either Lost Creek or Lick Creek, L-I-C-K.
Okay.
The research says Lost Creek. I only found a Lick Creek. It's passable. I don't know. Either way, Lick or Lost. It was a creek, as we say here in South Carolina. It was a creek. So the hikers smelled something and they came across the lifeless bodies of Carla and Vickie and immediately contacted the sheriff's office. Now, in a very eerie, creepy-ass twist, the day that the girls went missing, September 17th, 1980, their uncle, Joe Stout, was actually around this same Lost Creek, Lick Creek area where the bodies were found on the actual day. He went by to get some water from the spring, and he reportedly heard gunshots. And then he said he saw a blue truck in a brown car quickly race out of the area. Now, not thinking anything of it on the actual day, and It wasn't until later when he found out his nieces were missing that Joe told police about everything that happened, asked him to search the area. From what I found from the time that he notified the police of this incident, like what he heard, what he saw, up until the day that the bodies were found, I didn't find any documentation whether or not the police actually searched, took his information, was like, yeah, we probably need to go check it out, right? When the police actually did respond on October 5th, they found the girls' bodies were about 75 feet apart. And it appeared that someone may have tried to cover their bodies, whether it was with leaves or something. Their bodies only a few hundred yards away from their previous home by the Dip Dairy Freeze. And apparently there were violations as well while they were collecting evidence. There were protocol violations. which included one Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agent, TBI, improperly bagged multiple pieces of evidence by placing them in a large trash bag.
Oh my God.
Now, if cross-contamination wasn't the worst of it, the bags ended up being missing. By the agent's own account, his car was broken into and the evidence was stolen.
Oh my God. If that doesn't sound suspicious, I don't know. Who would rob that? I mean, that's so...
Who's going to rob a couple of the trash bags in a police car?
Yeah.
Okay, let's back up even further. Why the fuck is evidence in your police car?
Right. Right. Something's very suspicious.
There is a reason why there's certain protocols. You collect evidence. It's in your possession. You don't leave it in a car. No. If you can't log it in, take it wherever it is with you. I've had to do that.
Yeah.
Take evidence with me wherever I was. And obviously, it's not going to be like, out and be like, this is evidence. Don't come near me.
Yeah.
It's going to be hidden, in a bag or something like that where it's on my person because I'm responsible for that evidence. And it also was 1980, but whatever. I still don't get it. So the Stewart County Sheriff, David Hicks, he told the local newspaper at the time, quote, "We can safely say that it was a murderer," end quote. How knowledgeable of you. They both had gunshot wounds to the head.
I know. That's
Now, again, 3 weeks had gone by. It was 18 days. Many investigators were wondering what other evidence is missing. Maybe that TBI agent was like, I'm just going to throw some things out there. I don't know. And I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying it's really fucking weird that somebody knows something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, they did find shotgun shells and the girls' flip-flops, indicating that they may have been running away at the time. One investigator found a light blue stain of a tree where it appeared that it might have been that blue truck because where it was on the height of the tree was like the same height of where a truck would be. So it's like maybe it hit the tree. After the girls' bodies were found, Sister Patricia, she recalled, quote, "The phone rang and I answered it and it was my Aunt May and she was just crying and she said they found the girls and I knew when she was crying it wasn't a good find," end quote. This breaks your heart.
Yeah.
Now, their autopsies were conducted at the Memphis Crime Lab and it was evident that the cause of death was homicide. The girls were killed by shotgun shells to the backs of their head.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. So maybe as they were running.
Shotgun?
Shotgun.
My God.
It was a shotgun. Yeah. And of course, being 18 days later, their bodies were too decomposed to determine if they had any other abrasions or if they were sexually assaulted.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Now, the man identified by witnesses as driving that blue pickup truck, there were an artist sketch that was done. So it was like an immediate one. And I'm going to show on the Patreon, there's like a time lapse of like an age progression of the sketch. So there's one that's immediate and then there's two more that have been done. But by this time that the girls were found, the brother, Randy Stout, he was still in jail on marijuana charges when he learned about his sister's bodies being found. When the corrections officers came to get him out of his cell, he said he knew exactly what it was about because he got escorted into the office and there was 6 cops that were with him. And he's like, yeah, kind of knew, already knew. Case went very freaking cold. But it did start to warm up a little bit around 2011 when a new sheriff came to town, Derek Wyatt. He came on board and kind of refreshed things. Then by 2013, the Potneck News is an online news blog that's in the Dover, Tennessee area. They interviewed a man named Tim Webb. They ran this article, and basically he was recounting in this article everything that happened that day to the girls. This article wasn't published until after Tim Webb committed suicide. He also implicated that he was present during the time that they were murdered, and he named the murder suspect. Now, is it possible he was in the brown car and the other man was in the blue car? I don't know. They did find this named suspect, and he was interviewed by police. Of course, denied any knowledge of the murder or the girls and said he wasn't even in Dover at the time. And up until his actual death, Tim Webb told acquaintances a very consistent story about what happened, including details, and that if they were to be true, this would be only known by police or someone else that was present at the crime scene and possibly could have even been corroborated by the evidence that was collected and or stolen.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah. So allegations were made that the girls were murdered as a result of either drug use or a knowledge of drug deals. And also, again, they were scheduled to testify the next day after they were murdered. So there was rumors also about their boyfriends and their involvement with drugs. Now, all of these possible angles are part of that inner working of the case, like this true heart of it's all around the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But what are they covering up? That's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's 45 years later, people. Jesus. Okay. In 2014, the suspect, who was named in this article, sued. And then Sheriff David Hicks also countersued the Potneck News publisher, and then a separate investigative reporter who was unaffiliated with this Potneck News. This case in civil court was eventually dismissed with prejudice, but there was an undisclosed settlement agreement. The original story of Tim Webb's account was pulled in response to the civil suit, and every single story regarding Carla and Vickie were also taken down from the Potneck Web. And I checked that. I went in there and I found nothing.
Oh my God. You should go back to the Wayback Machine. Go to the Wayback.
Yeah. Well, it's possible because this happened because it was part of the judge's request as part of the settlement agreement.
Yeah.
That would be taken down. But yeah, Wayback Machine. Holler.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, in 2015, the next year, District Attorney Ray Crouch requested assistance from the FBI, who is still involved today. So they've only been involved for about 10 of the last 45 years. By the following year, 2016, Crouch was able to eliminate erroneous leads and false information, and they had some better focus on the facts surrounding the murders. In all, authorities had looked at or into about 30 suspects. Also in 2015, police reached out to the public and asked for help identifying this person of interest who was wanted in the case. And as far as I was able to find, that was probably the man in the blue truck, but I didn't see anything that ever came out of it. And of course, the case is still unsolved. The family held a tribute event around the 35-year anniversary. They do this a lot. There was a lot of like memorial tribute type of events that the family holds. Michelle Sills, she was 7 when her cousin Carla disappeared. She said, quote, "Days went by, years have gone by, and still we have no answers. Still no answers. We tried and tried and tried." That's why we're doing this today, because there's no answers and we got to rattle the cage. So maybe somebody will speak up about it.
Yeah.
Then in 2016, Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the apprehension, arrest, and conviction of the person or persons responsible for kidnapping and murdering Carla Atkins and Vickie Stout. However, again, no arrest has been made. Sister Patricia says that there was a point where they started to give up. And she said, quote, "It's very frustrating. It's scary because you don't know who it is and you don't know why." End quote. Now, 4 years later, District Attorney Crouch said that they have narrowed the number of suspects to roughly 3 or 4, who they're actually taking like a deep dive into their backgrounds and kind of really looking into them. In 2020, Crouch went to Florida to deliver evidence to a specialized DNA lab. The DNA test did produce some results, but Sister Patricia said that she was not giving any details. Since then, the evidence is being temporarily ceased, like the evidence testing, they've stopped it. But I wasn't able to find an update on this. And if you think about the year 2020, it was probably because of COVID.
Yeah.
If they stopped testing, they may have picked it back up. I was not able to find an update on that. But even with this, Patricia does remain optimistic that her sister's killer will be apprehended. Also, 2020, the mayor of Stewart County, Robin Brandon, declared September 17th as Carla Atkins and Vickie Stout Memorial Day.
Aww.
Okay, side note. We're going to go off the rails just a little bit. The land between the lakes has a rich history that dates back to when natives resided there. The indigenous people who were from there cherish their heritage, don't really look kindly on those who disrespect it, include those that come and take it and said, we're going to make this a recreational area. Within the land between the lakes is a place called Nickel Cemetery, one of the more than 270 known cemeteries within this recreational area. The aging graves date back to 18th and 19th centuries and hold some of the very few remaining remnants of the communities that lived there before it became a recreational area.
Mm-hmm.
As with many stories of land with rich histories, folklore tends to emerge, and the land between the lakes is no exception. This legend entails a beast that lives in the area, and some so-called eyewitnesses describe the beast with wolf-like characteristics and resembling Bigfoot.
Oh, so drugs. So all those drugs they're doing.
Now, many on social media also attribute this beast as the cause of murders that happen there, animal disappearances, and other paranormal activities. The U.S. Forest Service has never obtained any credible evidence that a beast exists. The absence of evidence, however, has not stopped the rumors. When local entrepreneurs Spencer Ballantyne and Lee Ververt collaborated, they made a film about the beast, and the legend grew even more intense. So some local residents are actually really offended by the tale and by the movie, saying that, quote, it erases the true folklore of the area.
Oh, God.
But the murders of Carla and Vickie are no folklore. Within the last several years, a second eyewitness, a woman driving by, saw them talking to the man in a blue truck. Now, allegedly, this only came out within the last couple of years. Allegedly, she called Stewart County Sheriff, the sheriff then, David Hicks. He responded to her house and said, you know, you shouldn't really be reporting this to anyone. She was an older woman. She was living alone.
Oh.
And, you know, harm may come to you if you report this.
Oh.
Now, as the sheriff, this is a very strong statement. But the woman did take it to heart. It's a small community. Like, if the sheriff comes to your house, you're like, okay, you know. She took it to heart. She kept it to herself, and because she wanted to stay safe.
Yeah.
Now, this information, and some of my information, I had a lot of research, but the majority of information was either gained from or corroborated with a 2023 podcast called Murder at Land Between the Lakes. This is ran by sisters Amelia Courtney and Lainey Sullivan, also from Dover, Tennessee, and they host a 3-part series about the life and death of Carla Atkins and Vickie Stout. Now they interview family, friends, potential witnesses to help keep this case in the public's eye, because after 45 years, you know, it's still unsolved.
Yeah.
On October 6, 2024, friends and family of Carla and Vickie gathered at Mamma Mia's in Dover, Tennessee. When I was looking on the map, I was like, oh, there it is. They did this tribute to honor them. The sister, Patricia Gordon, of course, was there, and she said that she is still hopeful that the case will be solved. The FBI, again, now working alongside with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, the TBI. Now, despite the bodies being discovered actually on federal land, FBI did not get involved until about 10 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So many questions still remain. Who was the fucking man in the blue truck?
Right.
Was he the last person to see them alive? Did he kill Carla and Vickie? Is the killer still alive? Does he reside in the area? Did the sheriff try to cover it up? Where is the fucking evidence?
Yeah. Where's the blue
so
truck?
Many questions.
Such a small town. You think you would know where the blue truck was.
Right? People know. See, that's the thing is people know. Somebody knows something.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's been 45 years later. Somebody still knows something.
Yeah.
So if you have information about the murders of Carla Atkins and Vickie Stout, please call. One, you can call the Murder at Land Between the Lakes tip line, the podcast. With any information, you can remain anonymous at 609-312-9260. Or you can also call the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations tip line at 1-800-TBI-FIND, TBI FIND. And that's 1-800-824-3463. Or you can send an email to tips at tbi.tn for Tennessee.gov. And that is your story about the land between the lakes.
Oh my God. Yeah, these unknown stories really break my heart. They really break my heart. There is definitely something going on there. There's powerful people involved. Because now if that sheriff is involved or possibly hid something,
if he's still alive.
Yeah, and not saying that he did it, but maybe he was covering up. Maybe he was tied in with the the drug dealers.
Yeah.
And he protected them and then he got the judge involved to remove his name from. So now he's got some power players involved. So
there's something going on
Mm.
and somebody knows something that should maybe not know, or they need to do something about it, because there is a murderer out there who killed 2 innocent girls.
Yeah.
Regardless if they were testifying in a drug deal case the next day or not. I mean, obviously a lot of things happen that way, right? I mean, we've covered the mob, we've covered drug dealers, like we've covered a lot of those types of cases, but these girls, seriously, 14 and 16.
Oh.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's terrible.
Shotgun to the back of the head.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous. So what was really also interesting is I wasn't able to find the mom's name. I mean, it could have been out there.
Yeah.
But okay, to be fair, I dedicated and allotted a lot of time to this, but I did not spend like weeks on it. Even with the story, it kind of relates to our theme this year, because suspect vanished.
Yeah.
Blue truck vanished. Evidence vanished. You know.
Should probably run something on our pages, like a comment section and list all the unsolveds and just say, hey, if you know anything, comment below.
Yeah.
Something.
I did actually start to work on something for this. Basically, like the teaser, it's like, you know, us, help the family. Help us get this fucking case solved. So,
heartbreaking.
The ladies who ran that Murder at Land Between the Lakes series podcast, they have other things, a lot of missing people, kids, adults, that they do discuss on there. So kind of shout out to them for keeping that in the public's eye, because I mean, Dover is so small. Like everybody knows everybody. Yeah. I've not been there. I know that type of town, you know, and just can't do anything without somebody knowing. And people talk.
Right.
And people continue to talk.
I think there's power players here.
Yeah.
I think the drugs are involved. Maybe the drug dealers paid off the police. Maybe they gave them a cut. And they kill some girls and they said, you gotta protect us because we're gonna tell, you know, whatever. And wow. Oh my God, Kat. Yeah, that's a heartbreaking story.
Yeah.
If you know something, say something.
Yes. Somebody knows something out there. So
yeah,
show us what you got, chatters.
Yes. Thank you for
Dover,
that story.
Tennessee on the map. Yo.
Yeah. Thank you for that story. Thank you for shedding light to this. Thank you. That means a lot. It really does. We need to start talking more about these, and we're going to do that this season.
Family deserves it.
Yes. Oh, all right. Well, we wouldn't dream of leaving you hanging, chatters. For more chilling details and twists in this case and many others, check out After That Crime Chat, available exclusively on our Patreon.
And remember, we got socials, y'all. Follow us with CrimeChat and Nat and Kat on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, and Rumble. See what we got going on.
Yes. Want more chilling content and behind-the-scenes chaos? Become a VIP chatter to our Patreon. You'll unlock bonus episodes, bloopers, exclusive sneak peeks, and even free merch. And yes, we've got some criminal goodies in the works. So support the show, fuel your obsession with the weird and the wacky, and join the CrimeChat chatter crew in style. Be
sure to check out Natalie's first solo episode of season 5 next week that we're going to record in a couple days. Do you know what you're doing?
No, yeah.
The pressure's on. The pressure's on.
I have a couple of stories already written. I just have to kind of like see which one I'm feeling right now. Yeah.
What do you feel? Right. Yeah. What do you feel?
Yeah. So either way, you don't want to miss it.
And we'll see you on the next Crime Chat. Bye.
Bye.